Hello students, we are going to continue the same chapter, that is life processes, and we have studied half of the part through the video and we have studied half of the part through the Zoom class, and today we are going to continue the small topic which we left out in our Zoom class, that is the function or the digestion process in the small intestine. So we are going to talk about the small intestine. Small intestine is considered to be the longest part of the alimentary canal, and it is about 20 feet long in humans. Okay, and small intestine contains various regions, that is duodenum. Okay, the region which follows the stomach, and there is jejunum, which is the middle part, and ileum is the later region which continues further into the large intestine. So you can understand, the connection between this stomach and the small intestine is duodenum, and the middle part of the small intestine is jejunum, and the connection through which the connection between the small intestine and large intestine is the ileum. Okay, and the internal surface of small intestine contains finger-like projections called villi. You have studied in your lower classes. Okay, and there is a common pancreatic duct from the pancreas and liver opens into the duodenum. Okay, so that means the pancreatic juice from the pancreas and the bile juice from the liver, it enters into the which part? Duodenum part of the small intestine, and the chemical digestion and absorption takes place in the small intestine. So you have to remember, the final digestion process occurs in the, or the major digestion process occurs in which part of the body? That is the small intestine. Okay, what is peristalsis? Peristalsis, what is that? A constant wave-like movement of the alimentary canal right from the esophagus to the small intestine is called peristalsis. Okay, actually what happens in this peristalsis? The muscles present in the walls of the alimentary canal, this one I have explained you in the Zoom class as well. Okay, muscles present in the walls of the alimentary canal are responsible for the peristalsis. What happens in that? The food is pushed through the alimentary canal in the forward direction. Okay, so this is called as the peristalsis. Okay, so one more time, small intestine is highly coiled tube-like structure, and it is longer than the large intestine. Okay, and its lumen is smaller than that of the large intestine, means it is longer but the lumen is smaller than the large intestine. Okay, and the small intestine is divided into three parts. I have told you: duodenum, which connects stomach and small intestine, then jejunum is the middle part, and ileum is the connection between the small intestine and the large intestine. So in small intestine, liver is the largest organ in the human body, and what it does, it manufactures the bile. Okay, and which is stored in what? Gall bladder. So you have to remember, if this is the liver, it manufactures the bile juice and it is stored in another organ that is called as the gall bladder. Okay, and the gall bladder, bile is released when it is required. Bile is released into what? In the small intestine. Same way, pancreas is situated just below the stomach and it secretes the pancreatic juice, which contains many digestive enzymes, and these digestive enzymes are transferred to, again, the small intestine. So here in the diagram you can see the outer larger or thicker part is called as the large intestine, and the finally coiled inner structure is called as the small intestine. Okay, and inside the small intestine there are finger-like projection called as villi. Okay, finger-like projections means they are called as the villi, and all these villi contains what? The blood vessels. Can you see this one, finger-like projection, and there are the microvilli? Can you see this one, this diagram? These are connected by the blood vessels, and through this only all the digested food particles travel through the blood vessels and reaches the various parts of our cells. So here this is a revision of the like what are the events that occurs in the small intestine. Okay, in small intestine there are some of the intestinal juices. Okay, what is the function of these intestinal enzymes? Okay, it digests the carbohydrates into glucose. This is very important, you need to understand. Okay, carbohydrate is digested into glucose. Then fat is digested into fatty acids and glycerol, and proteins, they digest it into the amino acid. These are the simpler forms. Okay. Apart from the intestinal enzymes, the next one is the small intestine contains the villi. Okay, villi or villi. What is the function of a villi? Inside the small intestine, you know that this is the highly coiled small intestine. And if you will thoroughly look inside it, you will find out there is a finger-like structure like this, and inside there are small microvilli present inside, okay, which are connected with the blood vessels, and the digested food is transported to various parts of the cells. So villi helps in the absorption of food into the blood, okay, into the blood, okay, and from the blood it reaches the cells. Then next one is, if you will see, small intestine receives secretion from, means apart from the intestinal juices, okay, and the villi's absorption process, there is some of the secretions that is received in the small intestine. What is that? From the liver, okay, and from the pancreas. These are the two parts from which the small intestine receives the secretion, okay. So what is the function of a liver? It manufactures the bile juice, okay. And what is the function of a bile juice? It emulsify, okay, it emulsify the large fat globules into small fat globules. This one in the Zoom class also I have explained you this one. This is very important. What is the function of a bile juice? It emulsifies the large fat globules into small fat globules. The next one is the pancreas. Can you see here? The pancreas. What is the function of a pancreas? It secretes the pancreatic juice. And pancreatic juice contains two types of enzymes, that is trypsin and lipase or lipase. Okay, trypsin and lipase, these are the two enzymes that is present in the pancreatic juice. And what is the function of trypsin? It helps in the digestion of proteins into peptones, okay, and fats into glycerol. So this is, you have to remember very carefully, okay. All these are very essential. You need to know which of the enzymes are responsible for digesting what. For example, you need to remember these intestinal enzymes. What they do: carbohydrate is digested into glucose, fat into fatty acid and glycerol, proteins into amino acids. In the same way, if it receives the secretion from the liver, bile juice is there. And what is the function of bile juice? It emulsifies the large globules into the small fat globules. What is the function of pancreatic juice? There are two enzymes present, trypsin and lipase. Trypsin helps in the digestion of proteins into peptones, and lipase helps in the digestion of fats into glycerol. So once all those kinds of digestion have occurred and all the essential food has gone to the various parts of the cells through the blood vessels that is connected in the finger-like projections villi, now the undigested weight enters the next part, that is the large intestine. Can you see this part? This is the large intestine, and from here it start moving. It moves here, here, and in the same way then it moves here, and here is the rectum and here is the anus. Okay, so large intestine is smaller than the small intestine, you know that, and undigested food goes into the large intestine, that also you know. When it enters the large intestine, even from the undigested food, what is the function of the large intestine? It absorbs the water and salt. Okay, on the walls of this, from the undigested food, water and salts are again absorbed from it. After that, the undigested food goes to the rectum, and where it is expelled out through the anus. This part is called as the rectum, where the fecal matter or the undigested waste is stored over there, and at last it moves out of this anus, okay, in the form of excreta through the anus, okay. And large intestine absorbs excess of water, and the rest of the material is removed by the body via the anus, and this process is called as the egestion. Can you see this term? Egestion. So that's it all for today. In nutrition, we have studied about the digestion process in human beings, and we studied today in this video about the small intestine and large intestine. We will be meeting up in our next video with our next topics. Till then, bye bye everyone.